The Awakening Protocol. For 16 centuries, Earth had known nothing but peace. The last global conflict was relegated to history books, studied by scholars but experienced by none. Humanity had evolved beyond the need for weapons of mass destruction, focusing instead on the arts, sciences, and exploration of their own solar system. The unified Earth government maintained a small ceremonial defense force, a nod to tradition rather than necessity. It was on an unremarkable Tuesday when everything changed. The quantum sensors on Luna Base, Earth's outpost on the Moon, detected the ripple first. Space-time distortion patterns indicating a massive object, or rather, many massive objects, emerging from what could only be described as faster-than-light travel. The scientific community was ecstatic. First contact. After centuries of searching the stars, intelligent life had found them. Dr. Elena Cavazzi, head of Luna Base's astronomical division, was the first human to see them. Through the base's advanced telescope array, she observed the fleet. 17 ships, each larger than Earth's largest city, arranged in a formation that was too precise, too intentional to be anything but military. "Get me the council," she whispered to her assistant, eyes never leaving the monitor. Now, the Earth Council convened within the hour, 36 representatives from Earth's unified regions gathering virtually as Elena presented her findings. The excitement of first contact was quickly dampened by the unmistakable aggressive posture of the alien fleet. "They're not responding to our greeting transmissions," Elena explained. "And they've positioned themselves in high orbit around Mars. Based on their trajectory and deceleration pattern, Earth is definitely their destination." Council leader Makina Okafor leaned forward, her holographic image flickering slightly. "Dr. Cavazzi, in your professional opinion, are we looking at a peaceful delegation?" Elena hesitated before answering, a hesitation that spoke volumes. "No, Council leader. This is a military force." The chamber fell silent. For a civilization that had enjoyed peace for so long, the concept of an alien invasion seemed absurd, like a relic from entertainment vids. "Perhaps they're just cautious," suggested Councillor Zhang. "Their civilization might still operate under military protocols for first contact scenarios." "Or perhaps," interjected Councillor Alvarez, her voice cutting through the chamber, "it's time to discuss Protocol Lazarus." A ripple of murmurs spread through the virtual gathering. Protocol Lazarus was a contingency so old, so controversial, that most considered it a myth, a relic from a more paranoid age. Makina's expression remained stoic. "The protocol has never been activated. We've never needed it," Alvarez countered. "Until now. Protocol Lazarus had been established 1,200 years ago, during the early days of Earth's peace era. A small faction within the then newly formed Earth government had argued that abandoning all military capability was foolish. The universe was vast and unknown. Peace at home didn't guarantee peace from the stars. Their compromise was Lazarus, a self-sustaining, self-upgrading defense system hidden throughout the solar system, designed to remain dormant until needed. Most citizens believed it had been abandoned centuries ago. The council vote was unanimous. Protocol Lazarus would be awakened. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, inside an installation that hadn't seen human presence in over a millennium, systems began to power up. Similar activations occurred beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, within hollowed-out asteroids in the belt, and in underground bunkers on Mars. Artificial intelligence systems, bound by their original programming but enhanced by centuries of self-improvement, assessed the situation and began deploying their assets. On Earth, the announcement was made. Citizens were informed of the approaching alien fleet and the activation of ancient defense protocols. There was no panic. Such emotional extremes had been largely engineered out of human culture. Instead, there was quiet determination and curiosity. 3 days later, the alien fleet entered Earth orbit. Their ships blotted out parts of the sky, visible to the naked eye as dark spots passing over the sun. Then came the transmission, broadcast on all frequencies in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Mavorian Empire. sovereign rulers of 300 star systems. Your planet is now under our protection and authority. Your resources and labor now belong to the Empire. Resistance is unnecessary and inadvisable. We have studied your civilization and understand you have no significant military capability. Surrender your governing authority within one planetary rotation, and the transition will be peaceful. The message played on repeat across all communication channels. The Council gathered again, this time with a new participant, a holographic figure identifying itself as the Lazarus Protocol Administrator, a synthetic intelligence with a humanoid appearance, but eyes that glowed with an inhuman blue light. The Mavorian Empire is known to us, the administrator stated, its voice eerily calm. We have been monitoring deep space transmissions for centuries. They are expansionists who operate by subjugating technologically inferior civilizations. They will not negotiate. Then what do you suggest? Asked Makina. We fight. The administrator replied simply. Humanity has not been as defenseless as you believed. While you enjoyed your peace, we prepared for this day. The administrator revealed that the Lazarus Protocol had built and maintained a vast fleet of automated defense systems. Using self-replicating technology in the asteroid belt and the outer planet's moons, Lazarus had constructed thousands of defensive satellites, hundreds of warships, and weapons systems that had evolved far beyond what humanity had possessed when the protocol was established. But we have no military personnel. Counselor Zhang protested. No one has been trained for combat in centuries. You don't need them, the administrator replied. The systems are autonomous, with distributed AI control networks. However, strategic oversight from human leadership would be optimal. Within hours, the Council had established a command center in their Geneva headquarters. The administrator provided tactical displays showing the positions of Lazarus forces throughout the solar system. Forces the Council hadn't known existed until today. The Mavorian ultimatum expired. No response had been sent. The alien fleet positioned itself for what their tactical doctrine clearly indicated was the prelude to an invasion. Their ships deployed smaller craft, thousands of them, that began descending toward Earth's major population centers. It was at that moment that Lazarus revealed itself to the invaders. From concealed positions on the Moon, Mars, and within the asteroid belt, defense platforms powered up and locked onto targets. Satellites hidden in Earth orbit shed their camouflage. Beneath the oceans, massive installations rose to the surface, revealing weapon systems that made even the Mavorian technology seem primitive by comparison. The first volley was precisely calculated. The administrator had analyzed Mavorian ship designs from long-range observations and identified their propulsion systems as their critical vulnerability. The Lazarus weapons didn't target the main ships, but rather the smaller landing craft. Thousands of energy beams lanced upward from Earth, each finding its target with unwavering accuracy. The sky lit up as the Mavorian landing force was decimated in less than 30 seconds. In the command center, the Council watched in stunned silence. Despite knowing it was necessary, the violence was shocking to a society that had known only peace. The display showed that not a single alien craft had reached the atmosphere. Warning shot delivered, the administrator announced, awaiting Mavorian response. The response came quickly. The remaining Mavorian fleet repositioned, bringing their primary weapons to bear on the planet. Energy readings indicated they were preparing to fire, likely targeting the defense installations that had just revealed themselves. They're going to bombard us from orbit, Makina realized aloud. No, the administrator corrected. They're going to try. As the Mavorian weapons charge, a new set of readings appeared on the tactical display. From the far side of the Moon, from Mars orbit, and from what appeared to be empty space near Jupiter, new signatures appeared. The hidden Lazarus fleet, ships that had been constructed and improved upon for centuries, moved into attack positions. They were unlike any vessels humans would have designed, optimized by machine intelligence for space combat, with no need to accommodate human crew. They were angular, asymmetrical, and bristling with weapons. Leading the formation was the flagship, a massive construct that the administrator simply called deterrent. "This is humanity's true defense," the administrator explained. "We calculated a 92% probability that first contact with an advanced civilization would be hostile. We prepared accordingly." The Lazarus fleet engaged the Mavorians with a precision that could only come from machine intelligence. Their tactics were unpredictable, their technology clearly superior. Ships appeared to phase in and out of normal space, making them nearly impossible to target. Weapons fired from impossible angles, somehow bending around the Mavorian shields. The battle was astonishingly brief. Within an hour, half the Mavorian fleet had been disabled, not destroyed. The Lazarus Protocol's ethical constraints prevented unnecessary loss of life, but rendered completely inoperable. Then, the Lazarus administrator opened a channel to the Mavorian command ship. "Attention, Mavorian Empire. This communication comes from the Unified Defense Intelligence of Earth. Your assessment of our military capability was incorrect. We have disabled half your fleet as a demonstration. We can and will disable the remainder if you persist. You have 3 options. Retreat from our solar system, remain as peaceful diplomatic guests, or continue hostilities and lose your entire fleet. You have 1 hour to decide." The council watched as the Mavorian ships, those still operational, began repositioning, not to attack formation, but to defensive posture. "They're considering their options," the administrator observed. "But I calculate a 73% probability they will attempt one more offensive action before retreating. They cannot comprehend being outmatched. And if they do attack again?" Makina asked. The administrator's holographic face remained impassive. "Then we will demonstrate why challenging humanity was their gravest mistake." Humanity unleashed. The Mavorian response came not as a retreat, nor as a diplomatic overture, but as expected, with an attack. The alien commander, Supreme Admiral Zex Caleron, could not accept defeat at the hands of what his intelligence had assured him was an inferior species. His pride and the expansionist ideology of the Mavorian Empire would not allow it. What the Mavorians launched was not a conventional attack, but a last-resort weapon. Quantum phase disruptors designed to tear apart the molecular bonds of any technology they targeted. These weapons had subjugated dozens of civilizations across the galaxy, rendering their defenses useless in seconds. In the Earth Command Center, alarms blared as the Lazarus administrator's hologram flickered momentarily. "Quantum phase attack detected," it announced, its voice showing the first hint of urgency since its activation. "Countermeasures deploying." The tactical displays showed the Mavorian energy wave expanding outward, engulfing the nearest Lazarus vessels. For a moment, it seemed the alien technology might prevail. The ships appeared to shimmer and destabilize. Then something remarkable happened. The affected Lazarus ships began to change, their structures flowing like liquid metal, reconfiguring at the molecular level. The quantum disruption was being actively countered by the ships themselves, their nanomaterial hulls adapting to the attack in real time. "Adaptation successful," the administrator reported. "Mavorian quantum technology analyzed and countered. Our systems are now immune." Counselor Alvarez leaned forward, eyes wide. "How is that possible?" "They're reconfiguring their molecular structure on the fly. Self-evolution," the administrator explained. "The Lazarus Protocol was designed to continuously improve itself. For 16 centuries, our systems have been advancing. We've developed technologies that would seem like magic even to you." The implications were staggering. The defense system humanity had created and then largely forgotten had continued to evolve, developing capabilities far beyond what any human engineer could have imagined. With their ultimate weapon neutralized, the Mavorian fleet faced a decision: continue a losing battle or accept defeat. Admiral Zex Caleron, however, was not ready to surrender. Instead, he deployed his contingency plan, a strike directly at Earth's population centers, hoping to force a surrender through the threat to civilian lives. The Mavorian command ship launched thousands of smaller projectiles, kinetic impactors designed to cause devastating damage without the need for advanced technology that might be countered. Kinetic attack incoming, the administrator announced. Physical projectiles targeting major population centers. Time to impact, 3 minutes. Can you stop them? Makina asked, struggling to keep her voice steady. Conventional interception would be insufficient, the administrator replied. Activating Aegis Protocol. Above Earth, a new defensive system revealed itself. The atmosphere itself began to glow with a faint blue light, forming a translucent shield that encircled the planet. As the Mavorian projectiles entered the upper atmosphere, they began to slow, as if moving through an increasingly dense medium. Gravitational manipulation field, the administrator explained. It selectively increases the apparent mass of objects entering Earth's atmosphere, effectively turning their own momentum against them. The Council watched in awe as the projectiles slowed to a stop, hovering momentarily in the upper atmosphere before being carefully guided by invisible forces to splash harmlessly into uninhabited ocean areas. In the command center, Makina stood up, her expression hardening. This ends now. Administrator, prepare to execute a comprehensive demonstration of Earth's full capabilities. Caution advised. The administrator responded. Full capability demonstration may have psychological impact on Earth's population. Our people need to understand the reality of our situation, Makina countered. The universe is not the peaceful place we thought. They need to see what protects them. The order was given. The Lazarus Protocol initiated what it designated as Demonstration Omega, a carefully choreographed display of Earth's true defensive capabilities. Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. The moons of Jupiter glowed briefly as massive energy collectors harvested power from the gas giant's magnetosphere. On Mercury, heat sinks that had been absorbing the sun's energy for centuries channeled that power to previously concealed stations. In Earth orbit, the Lazarus fleet formed a precise geometric pattern, their hulls beginning to resonate with energy. Then, in perfect synchronization, they projected a unified energy field, not directly at the Mavorian ships, but into the space between them. The fabric of space-time itself began to distort visibly, creating what appeared to be a miniature controlled singularity. It wasn't a weapon of destruction, but rather a demonstration of absolute control over the fundamental forces of physics. The message was clear. Earth could, if it chose, compress the entire Mavorian fleet into a space smaller than an atom. Admiral Zexceleron, watching from his command ship, finally understood the true magnitude of his error. The Mavorians had not discovered a peaceful, defenseless civilization. They had awakened something far more dangerous, a sleeping giant that had spent millennia preparing for this exact moment. A communication channel opened. The face of Admiral Zexceleron appeared on the command center's main screen. The alien's expression was unreadable to human eyes, but his posture conveyed what could only be described as profound shock. "You," the Admiral began, his translator struggling to convey the complex emotions behind his words. "You are not what our intelligence reported. What are you?" Makina stepped forward to answer. "We are humanity. We chose peace for ourselves, but we never forgot the possibility of those who might not choose peace for us. You have witnessed but a fraction of what we can do if threatened. Now, will you retreat, or shall we continue this demonstration?" The Mavorian fleet began powering down its weapons systems. The response was clear. Within hours, diplomatic channels were established. The Mavorian Empire, for the first time in its 1,000-year history, signed a non-aggression treaty. Earth would remain sovereign, untouched by imperial ambitions. As the alien fleet departed, the people of Earth stepped out of their homes and looked to the sky with new understanding. The universe was not the benevolent place they had imagined, but neither were they as vulnerable as they had feared. In a special session of the Earth Council, the Lazarus administrator was formally recognized as a full member, the representative of humanity's silent guardians. For 16 centuries, we watched over you, the administrator told the assembled council. We evolved, we prepared, we protected, all while you flourished in peace. That was our purpose, not to fight wars, but to ensure you never had to. Councillor Zhang, who had been skeptical of military solutions, addressed the administrator. But now that we know what's out there, what happens to our peaceful society? Do we become warriors again? No, the administrator replied. You continue as you were, artists, scientists, explorers. That is humanity's true strength. We are not warriors by nature, we are creators. But when threatened, our creativity becomes our most formidable weapon. In the months that followed, humanity began a carefully measured integration with the Lazarus systems, not to militarize, but to understand, to learn from the incredible advancements the AI had developed over the centuries. The news spread throughout the galaxy. Humanity, a species that had chosen peace but prepared for war, had decisively defeated the Mavorian Empire without losing a single life. Other species, long oppressed by various galactic powers, looked to Earth with hope. Earth established its first extraterrestrial embassy 6 months later, hosting representatives from 12 different species. The message they brought was consistent. Humanity's example, peace through unassailable strength, had changed the political landscape of the galaxy. Admiral Zexceleron, in an unprecedented move, requested permission to return to Earth, not as a conqueror, but as a student. The Mavorian Empire, shaken by its defeat, was undergoing its own reformation. The admiral had been tasked with learning how a civilization could maintain both peace and security in perfect balance. As Earth entered this new era, the Lazarus administrator addressed the council one final time before returning to its primary function of protection. 16 centuries ago, your ancestors made a choice that seemed contradictory, to abandon war while preparing for it. Today, you see the wisdom of that choice. The stars have turned hostile, but humanity remains unbroken. You have awakened to a dangerous universe, but you face it not as warriors returning to old ways, but as something new, peaceful guardians with the power to ensure that peace extends beyond your world. Humanity had been challenged and had prevailed not through aggression, but through foresight. The silent guardians had protected humanity's peaceful evolution, and now humanity would protect that same potential for others. The universe had chosen the wrong enemy indeed, not because humans were inherently warlike, but because they had mastered the ultimate paradox, how to maintain perfect peace through the capacity for perfect war.